person, innit? I'm not there for anything else really. But one thing for sure though, it's like throughout my career, I think this is probably the most serious time I've taken it in terms of like my food, my sleep, the way I'm training. Like I study the game and I'm just everything I've learned. Like me and Jermaine could chop it up and talk boxing for hours. Like everything I've learned about boxing, I'm always putting it into another camp. So everything I've been through, positive, negative, I'm using it to fuel this camp here. So I'm not really there to like go out for coffees and talk about bullshit. I'm there to fucking work and put my head down and get ready for a fight.
Do you feel like a seasoned pro now?
Sorry about my language as well, but yeah.
Do you feel like a seasoned pro now?
Nah, I still feel fresh and young. I still feel really fresh and young, yeah, not like a seasoned pro. As I said, I adapted to certain fights, so I didn't take crazy punishment. So at this stage of my career, I'll be like, shit, I've taken so much punishment. I'm war torn. I still feel fresh.
Where does the desire come from, and what is the desire? Obviously, I know you love to fight.
I like making money. Straight up, like this is a prize fighting sport. Like I've been broke, my family's been broke. I know what this shit means, and I do it like because I'm good at it and I hustle hard. And when it's all said and done, no one will care about me no more. So I've got to make the most of it while I'm here.
And you still in love with the sport of boxing? I mean, you give it so much back. I know what it did for you as a kid.
Well, there's a difference. So what happened is, people say like, question where people's heads at. Like, is his head in the game? But like, that's one thing. I think waking up every day is just a normal everyday thing, right? You don't think about it. So going to the gym for a fighter is just a normal everyday thing. So many fighters go to the gym every day, but there's a difference when you put your heart into it. And I've had to kind of get rid of a lot of distractions and things in my life so I can put my heart back into the game, because I always built businesses outside of boxing because of the fear that, you know, going back to square one. So I always tried to build an empire, so when it's all said and done, I'll never be able to look back and say I made stupid decisions. But I made a conscious decision last year to step back and just put my heart into boxing and nothing else.
Those are the words of Anthony Joshua. As you guys heard with me, the people that were on, Anthony Joshua says, I'm here to work. I haven't seen anything about Texas. What motivates me is money. And let me counterpunch. You guys that come in, hit the like button. I was going to make this a video, but my father's birthday is today, so I'm taking him somewhere. So he's on his way over here, so we'll go, get some grub. But I had to go live with this because I wanted to be more interactive with you guys, because I have a lot to discuss in a short amount of time. Okay. I do understand that Joshua needs money. Everybody needs money. Ask Skip, big up. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. And I think that there will be a one day, and it's not going to be like too far down the road. In 3 years, you may not see Anthony Joshua no more. In 3 years, just in 3. So we have 2023, next year, 2024, 2025. Probably at the end of 2025, we wouldn't be talking about him anymore. We won't be talking about him. We may not be talking about like Joe Joyce, because they're all getting older, unless they're still, hell-bent on fighting, or if they're still undefeated and they're still waiting for their opportunity, which I hope they get their opportunity very, 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 very soon. Okay, so wish the best for them. But someone like Joshua, he knows now, and I think he knew then, like, hey, I need to build empires. But I'm thinking, how many empires do you need based on the money that you made? And if money is your motivator, that's different from where your heart is. See, the money is made for AJ. This is my mindset, or this is what I would think of Anthony Joshua. I would think that the amount of money that he's made over the last 5 years, so 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, those 5 years, he's made 300 million. You know, something like that, at least. You know, because you got 85 million for the rematch, 35 with Andy Ruiz, 35 million for the first fight in Madison Square Garden. That alone is over 100 million. Then I think he received like 10 million for the COVID fight with Pulev. Then the two fights with Alexander Usyk, which I think he made 65 and 65 or some shit like that. 65 and 50. That's 200. That's over $200,000. So I know there's taxes and things like that, but I'm thinking at the end of the day, and I'm not even talking about endorsements. So that's a totally different stream of revenue. You know, you would think the last thing that he would be doing this for is for money. And might I dare say that maybe Joshua's, you know, fighting these fights and taking these fights so he can get his money up, because it's not guaranteed if he does get into a massive fight with any other fighter if he would beat him. Because, like, I know he's kind of cryptic. I know he kind of talks in riddles and shit like that a lot of times. And I just did a video on Joshua, so I don't want to just flood you, but that, you know, that's been the talk of the hour. What Joshua said in regards to his motivation. Your motivation is money. Well, is it that you have money problems, or is it you're just trying to make more money because you're just trying to, like he said, he's trying to make all the money that he can. All the money that he can before people stop talking about him. Well, people are already writing him off. People are already doubting him. You know, even if he knocks Jermaine Franklin out, people are going to say that's what he's supposed to do moving on. Can he do that with Tyson Fury? Can he do that with Deontay Wilder? Can he do that with Joe Joyce? Can he do that with other fighters that are showing a dominance in the sport right now? Lee Fury, Joyce, etc. Even Wilder with Helena's knockout, another viral video of him tapping the man wrong and he's knocking him spark out. So, you know, the money. And look, that is it's not an excuse if that's what a person's explanation is. If a person explains to you, this is my motivation, that's exactly what it is. But it's like, stay humble, stay hungry. It's like, okay, where does that apply into just financial? And it just makes me think, you know, Tyson Fury said this about Joshua. He's a businessman, but I'm a fucking Spartan. Well, to counterpunch both of you, you're both just businessmen because you're prize fighters. So to say that, at least say this about Joshua. At least Joshua was true about what the hell he was fighting for. But then again, if you would have asked him this same thing before the second Usyk fight, would money be that excuse? Would that be that explanation? Right? That's what you ask yourself. And then you say, okay, if you have something else, let me know. Now, I know it's not a championship fight. I know that, but still, you know, how much money does one man need? Lee Foster, exactly. Because, see, I was thinking this about Joshua. At least he could make enough money that he went over, got rid of Rob McCracken, got rid of Roberto Garcia, got rid of the two Robs. Now he's with Derek Chisora. So he's taken time to move to train in another country, which is the USA, the Lone Star State, to take on a challenge or to see where he's at. I don't think anybody that only cared about money would do that. That's why it's really not making sense with me. It's like, oh yeah, well, I had to get rid of distractions, but I'm like, well, greed can be a distraction. Greed can be if that's the overall reason you're fighting now, that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign at all, because you're like, okay, well, what do you like? Is that it? You know, so if you get hurt, will we see some other shit? You know, Jungle is massive. No issue with him saying he's interested in money. I hope he earns another 100 mil. But what I do take issue with, he said the whole career, it's about legacy and undisputed. And I'm like, exactly. So say legacy and undisputed versus money. Someone like Floyd, Money Mayweather would say something like that. Something like Anthony Joshua, you would expect it to be more authentic. Right? It's just like, okay, we've never heard him say that before. That's what I'm saying, people. See, again, it's the inconsistencies of what a person says, and a lot of times, you try. It's kind of, I don't know. It's like awkward. Legacy fights got him losses. Well, I don't think those were even legacy fights, though. That wasn't a legacy fight. I think that was a mandatory. That was a defense of what he was trying to keep. So, had he it's like Joshua got beaten by the wrong people. And he's like, hey, I'm here to work. I can respect that. I'm here to make money. I can respect that too. But to respond in money is your only that's your sole motivation. It's like, wow. So the undisputed, how do you rank the undisputed with money? Undisputed, legacy, Big Wah. I think AJ will always have a passion for boxing, but the fact that he's made so much money that he doesn't need to risk getting hurt will always be in his head as well. Interesting. Them back-to-back losses to Usyk got him demoralized, right? Demoralized. Hawker Mustang. If something makes you change your whole perspective, I mean, that's just more of a self-absorbed thing. What's the business, Kurt? Salute to you and the members of the chat. Let's cook. Joshua Little John in the building. What's up, brother? Long time no see. Joshua is a failure. Unicat. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that at all. If anything, Joshua's made more money than anybody if we're talking about money. So if he wants to convert into a Floyd money Mayweather, well then yeah, he's won tenfold. And then see, if you go back and you backtrack on Joshua and the things that he's said and now versus him hanging around Floyd, what do you really think those guys have a lot in common? Think about it. Floyd only gives a shit about money. Floyd just burns money, but he breathes, sleeps, thinks, feels money. So yeah, he likes to compete because I think a part of him really likes the idea of just being him. That's him at the end of the day. So there had to be some similarities between him and Floyd Money Mayweather. Okay? Because that's the only way that makes sense. But now it's coming together. It's like, well, that's my money. So you are the businessman. He already said he only fights for money when he was doing a speech at Oxford University. Luca Mora. Okay. Bryce Productions. Hello. Unicat Joshua is not a failure at all. That's just nonsense. Wilder versus AJ is appropriate. Well, if it's about money, he should want to fight Wilder at the end of the year. Because damn well Wilder is fighting Joshua for money. He's not fighting Joshua for, I think I can beat him. He probably always felt he could beat him, but I think that Deontay Wilder is fighting Anthony Joshua for the bag. Just like Tyson Fury. Those guys knew if Joshua, there's no one else I could fight. That's what's wrong with Wilder right now. He's getting into a situation where he's knowing and understanding that, damn, I can't fight no one else but Joshua to make the money that I know I want or I need or I feel I deserve at this part of my career. See, I think Wilder's looking for those couple big fights and getting the hell out, which is nothing wrong with that at all. He'll pay the pay-per-view bill if he wants to get with Wilder and Fury. There's your money, AJ. I'll pay for that every day of the week. Jungle of Massive, me and you both. Counterpunch to you. Joshua Little John, what do you think that Derek James could bring out of AJ? I personally think that AJ needs to be more disciplined with his jab. I think based on how he explained, because we're going to listen to more of it, what he explained about his distractions, I think that plays a part in I think that really plays a part in him, you know, and we'll see, you know, like, but we did hear some similar shit like, oh, well, you know, I'm just tweaking some things. I don't want to change the whole style. So I'm just kind of looking at somebody with a good eye. I'm like, you know, I'm not going to jump on that so well because we heard that with the Robert Garcia fight. I don't think you're understanding what he means. I think he means right now as to when he was a champ, but I bet if he wins the belt again, ask him the same question, he answers different. Black Paul 1977. Let's hope so. Wilder ain't fighting Joshua. Black Paul 1977. Wilder was always a protected boxer fighting for money. Well, he wasn't fighting for much money because he didn't make much money. You know, he didn't make the money that he needed until he got beat. The biggest fight purse that Deontay Wilder ever got was when he got beat to Tyson Fury. AJ is ducking Wilder currently. Well, I have to wait and see if he's ducking Wilder because we have to see what he plans to do after this fight. Ducking, explain the please smells like. Duck avoiding another fight. Ask Skip, Sugar Ray Robinson didn't even like the sport. It was all about money for him. I wouldn't go that far. I think we are over this Wilder Joshua ducking issue. I mean, we should be. That money goes a long way in Mississippi, Kurt. Yeah, on Alabama too, sir. What we already know way he's gonna do next. He fight White Eddie Fighter. Kurt, do you think Jermaine Franklin is a good step in AJ's writing for his wrongs? I think AJ could have actually fought Otto Eileen. Joshua Lil John, that's who I wanted him to fight. That's my ideal guy. You know, don't fight a guy Dillian White already fought. It makes you feel like you're going backwards. Unless you destroy him. Unless you show him, listen, you didn't even supposed to be in here. I did this to tune up for myself. I did this for a possible build up with Dillian White or whatever. But you're out of here. You're done. You're done. You know? Afternoon, Kurt counterpunch to you, brother. Marlon Thornell counterpunch to you. I wish there were 10,000 guys just like you, Marlon. Derek James wanted Franklin, he said. Fury's scared of AJ. Okay. Franklin will KO AJ. I think Franklin has more power than Usyk. I don't know. He did buckle Dillian White, but who ain't buckled Dillian White? And see, Dillian White never fought Usyk, so we don't really have a barometer of fair play. Wayne Fitness, what's good, Kurt? Everything's good, man. Everything's good. You know, let's listen to some more of this.
Your heart has to be in it. You know how dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I say. It's not the mind. It's not just the mind, like where your head's at. It's your heart. It's like being in a relationship. If your heart ain't in it, it's no good. You just wake up with your partner every morning, but if your heart's in it, it's a different kind of relationship. So, yeah. With that being said, the relationship you have with your job, the relationship a fighter has with their sport, they need to have their heart in it if they want to get to the top. Okay, so all that had nothing to do, in my eyes, with money. This is everything else. So it just makes it sound weird to me that he answered in that way. So it might be just money, and it may be just trying to clean it up. Like, oh, well, no, it's about heart, determination, desire. But then again, like, okay, you know, you said money though first. I do not hate Joshua, but you have to learn from your failure, and Joshua did not learn. Sometimes punching up can catch you on the button. Punching down for a Joshua will be harder. I don't know. You know, I think this has the potential to have a Andy Ruiz written all over it. Why?
For one, the style. Okay. The style of Jermaine Franklin. You know, he's a fast, shorter fighter, pudgy, tubby, chunky, like Andy Ruiz, right? You know, so I see similarities between Andy and Jermaine Franklin. You know, because you know at some point Jermaine Franklin's going to let his hands go, like he did with Dillian White. I think AJ should have more experience against southpaw fighters and also have Derek James teach him to switch hit. He will be more dangerous. I mean, well, Errol Spence didn't switch hit, so I don't know what you're talking about. I never seen him with a switch hitter. Everyone needs to get paid. St. Don, absolutely. You know, and there is no belt on the line. So keep that in mind, that there's no belt on the line. I like Franklin. He seems humble and stands a good chance against AJ. Well, that's the best approach, because if you're brash like Jarrell Miller, you know, yeah, you can sell a fighter, but the expense of pissing somebody off and making a bad enemy out of it. AJ seemed just like he hasn't taken anything or anyone else on board. He's still in the same old mindset. Yeah, it doesn't look like anything that's like verbally changed for him. I don't mind AJ fighting Franklin or White, but not both. Well, yeah, I would rather fight Frank. I'm glad that he's fighting. I'm glad that he's fighting Franklin instead of Dillian White now. Even though Dillian White's mad and he was promised. I mean, I didn't want to see that fight again. It's a gimme fight. 9-10 times AJ wins. I think Joshua is weak mentally. Well, that's hard to say because he's explained that he switched up styles and stuff like that. So Franklin has no pop. He is no threat. It's just a matter of time. Round AJ stops him, but he should. He should stop him and get him out of there, you know, and he must remember his defense as doing so. Ed, what's up? Kurt, counterpunch to you. AJ should up it to a Vilene Sanchez, Philip H. sort of level. Yeah, that would be good if he fought someone like, you know, because those guys will be real, like someone like Sanchez in shape will give AJ a run for his money. Muhammad Ali in the building. Counterpunch to you, brother. Salute. People used to say the same things about Lennox Lewis when he lost. Listen, guys, maybe tomorrow I have a wicked video to post. See, you guys don't understand. I might do 10 videos, 11 videos in one day. I'm not going to post them all in one day. Isn't there talk of White fighting Otto again? He should fight Otto Vilene again. That's exactly what White should do. Otto Vilene is unfinished business to me for Dillian White. It's unfinished business. Because when I think of Dillian White and the way that went down and didn't happen, it made me feel some type of way. I'm not going to lie. Because I'm like, well, wait a minute, man. Why would you not want to fight Otto Vilene? In fact, Otto Vilene should have been the next opponent for Dillian White. He should have been the next opponent for Dillian White. He should have been that guy that should have been on reserve. Okay, it's your turn. That's exactly what if I'm Dillian White, you know, it makes you wonder. You know, is Dillian White the can man? Is he the can man? Is he still the can man? Have you played with Fury on Undisputed? Dude is cracked. No, I haven't. I haven't played it yet, man. Just a confidence building fight. Well, I mean, it better be. St. Don, White does owe Wileen a fight. St. Don, you're absolutely right. Bars. Albuga. Yo. But yeah, St. Don, you're right. He does owe Otto Wileen definitely a fight. Yo from the UK, Andrew Scott. And see, if Otto Wileen beats Dillian White will be done. You know what'll happen? Anthony Joshua would then fight Otto Wileen. He would have to. Because if he decides to fight him and he fought the loser, why would he fight Dillian White also being the loser? You can't do that twice back to back because then your credibility is already down here. And let me tell you guys something. Anthony Joshua, the way people are looking at Anthony Joshua now, especially on my channel, okay? On this channel, Anthony Joshua, the views were always up. Now, lucky you get 5,000 views, some 7,000, 8,000. People are starting not to care as much. And it's like, I can't say that I'm losing subscribers because I'm gaining subscribers every day. I think the people that come on, they just don't really like AJ because it's a time frame where AJ showed some type of signs that people didn't like and didn't know. You know, and a lot of people stopped watching content concerning AJ because of that. If I remember correctly, White said he had a bum shoulder and pretty much wanted to wait for the Fury money. Well, I doubted that he had a good shoulder if he fought Fury, if that's the truth. Fury might fight Ngannou first. Wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I don't see why people fuss about a tune-up fight after a loss. I don't see, you know. Joe Joyce and Otto Wileen both deserve a title shot. Well, I think Joe Joyce should fight Otto Wileen. That would be badass. I feel sorry for Otto Wileen because, see, Otto Wileen, he doesn't punch hard enough. You know, he's a little scrapper and kind of gets down, and someone like Joe Joyce would just beat the brakes off of him. He would take them little shots to land his own shots. And pretty soon, it'll get to a point where Otto Wileen will be broken down and he won't be able to take shots. The only problem with him, he beat up Dominic Breazeale. He did. So it'll be an interesting fight because Otto Wileen has a little speed. You know, he throws punches in bunches. But will those punches in bunches be enough for someone like Joe Joyce? Hold on a second. Hey, let me call you right back, okay? All right, bye. So, both AJ and White are one fight away from ending their careers. On a serious issue, yes. On a serious level, serious stage, yes. Joshua cannot lose another fight, especially to someone like Jermaine Franklin. He can't look timid. He can't look unsure. He can't look anywhere near defeated or indecisive in this fight. He can't do that. AJ could fight Fury, Jersey Joe, Wilder, or Ruiz 3. He could fight any of those guys. But, you know, you're not going to see a Ruiz Joshua 3. I doubt that. As much as Andy would love that because he knows it's going to be a payday. Payday! I think AJ's having big muscles give him confidence. When slim, he looks nervous. Big muscles got him to the top. No, I think his idea that they did, but they didn't. Those muscles turned on his ass when he got tired too. AJ is on it, boy. Danny White, counterpunch to you. Rene Padilla, salute Kurt. Praise the Lord Jesus Christ, the Almighty. Hope you're doing good, brother. I have been training for my amateur career training on a 200-pound bag. Nice. Yeah, man, I've seen those, man. Keep up the good work. Keep throwing those punches. Keep working on your form, your punch placement. You know, be careful on how you deliver those punches to that bag because, you know, that bag changes density unless you've taken some stuff out of that bag, which is good. Because you want to avoid slapping the bag, because a lot of people slap the bag because the bag is too heavy and it hurts their hands, and they don't really want to admit it hurts their hands, so they end up throwing a lot of arm punches and just slapping that big hard ass bag where it's actually doing damage to your knuckles and your fists. Mentally, Joshua is very weak. AJ looking more like a bodybuilder than a fighter. AJ should have a pose off. Do you slap the bag though? No, I don't slap the bag. But I've know what it's like for you to punch a bag that's too hard. You don't punch it with the right form or the way it's supposed to be delivered. You don't deliver a punch the right way. What likelihood do you think that the Jermaine Franklin, instead of a single tune-up, could end up a disaster? It could happen. Love this dude all the way from UK. Danny White, counterpunch to you. Joshua has zero defense. I wouldn't say that shit either. Just because you've seen him fight an elusive ass former undisputed cruiserweight champion that looked dynamic on the day, you know. So I reckon AJ gets through Franklin and White, but the end game could be Wilder. Well, let's hope it's Wilder, but let's hope Wilder is available. Because Wilder pulls this shit like, I'm so disgusted when I wanted to fight you, you aren't ready because you ducked me, but then your name comes up. It's like, okay, well, what really happens at that point? What really happens at that point? Like, you didn't even wait because your emotions made you impatient. Since you were impatient, you're more now like, oh, that may be coming off as an excuse. It's almost like this, people. Let's look at it this way. Let's say you didn't really want to go with a girl, but you wanted to play games. So what you would do, you would pretend like you wanted that particular girl at a particular time, and at that particular time it wasn't realistic. But you say, hey, I wanted you then, but you know what? Now you wasted time. I don't want it no more. I don't want Wilder to have that attitude, because that's what I'm seeing. That's a possibility that you're going to pretend like you don't know when this guy plans to fight you, if given he gets through Jermaine Franklin or another fighter, whoever he chooses to fight. If Wilder done if he loses to Ruiz? I mean, all these fighters, to be fair, something should be wrong with them. Like, something should happen to them if they lose again. It'll be a while. Boxing is 100% mentally. You will feel pain, but you have to go forward. So that's what that is. Okay, Joshua deserves an easy fight after building the best resume in the division. Corey Bradley, I don't give him flack for fighting Jermaine Franklin because he is a fresh fighter. What raised my eyebrows is his only motivation is money. And I'm thinking, well, how can that be the only motivation when undisputed, one champion, one face, one name was all what you talked about? Now, maybe he's talking about this one fight. I don't want to take things out of context. I'm still a fan of Anthony Joshua, but like he says, well, this is only about money. Well, what you could be possibly doing is looking at a payday, but you have to be looking at that payday as a possible upset or a possible threat. Okay, so that's the difference. And I want you guys to understand that totally. Because, see, that's what it's about at the end of the day. A guy that can possibly end your career if you take another L, that will be 4 losses, and that will be 3 losses back to back. I think Joshua's fighting only for money. Okay, Unicat. I know you're a Joshua fan. Jermaine Franklin is a Ring Magazine top 10 ranked fighter. He could be fighting a Chisora like Fury. That's true. Would be a bad match. Look, all those guys, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, who did they last fight? Tune-ups. Stay busies. Showcase fights. That's all that you've really seen them do. So let's just be real. Let's cut the shit here. That's all they've done. So in comparison to someone else, you can't fault Joshua that much. Okay? But if it's money's the only motivation, and it is truly the only motivation, he could be in some trouble, because it's hard to convince me that you're really focused on this particular fight and you want to get rid of distractions if your only end game is money. But anyway, guys, I thank you for coming in. My father just came, about to go out to eat. Enjoy this birthday day. I got another video or so coming at you. God bless you all. Everyone be safe coming into this weekend. And you all have been counterpunched. Peace.